But giving birds the best chance is by making sure their breeding sites are safe. We all have a part to play in biosecurity because we all present a biosecurity risk.
Can go into multiple burrows in a night and eat multiple chicks or eggs in a night. Concerning would be one word, but terrifying as a seabird island manager.
It's imperative that we don't allow this to happen because it could devastate the population, and then therefore we'll put a business like ours out of business because there are no birds to see.
I'm Holly and I work for Biosecurity for Scotland. We are going to the Shants to carry out a biosecurity dog check and check some of the wax stations that are on the island. Seabirds are facing a lot of threats, I'm sure many people know, but things like plastic pollution, climate change, overfishing, a lack of food, and all of those are really big problems that are quite hard to tackle. But giving birds the best chance is by making sure their breeding sites are safe. And one of the biggest threats to those sites is invasive non-native mammalian predators. So these are things like rats, mice, mink, feral cats, hedgehogs, stoats. They'll all predate on chicks, eggs, and even adult birds. So biosecurity is the practice of stopping them from getting there in the first place. But it also involves surveillance, so finding out if an animal gets to one of these islands, we want to be able to know about it really quickly, because the faster we know, the faster we can respond. So there were rats on the Shants, and about 10 years ago they were eradicated. Female rats are pregnant pretty much all of the time, basically. And one pregnant female rat, if it were to get to an island like here and went unnoticed, within 8 months you'd have 300 rats. Well, it could very quickly become a population, and then you're moving from incursion response, which is normally just dealing with one or maybe two animals, to a full eradication. Which again is hugely expensive and time-consuming and also often not entirely successful.
This is the RSPB's Nature Reserve of Priest Island. So it's one of the summer isles off Ullapool in the Minch. It's a really important place for breeding storm petrels. So it's one of the biggest colonies of breeding storm petrel in Scotland, if not the UK, and important in an international context as well. They come ashore at night. When they come on shore to breed, they need to go to places that are remote and protected. They nest underground so that the predators can't get to them. The main threats to burrow nesting birds like storm petrels are invasive non-native mammalian predators, so mammals. We are particularly concerned here about whether rats arrive onto the island and also whether mink arrive onto the island. And we've had sightings of mink around the summer isles, so we know that there are mink in the area, and that would be terrible for the storm petrels because mink can get in those nooks and crannies that the storm petrels are nesting in and eat their eggs or eat their chicks or potentially even eat the adults. That would be no problem for a mink. I have got in my hand a chocolate wax block. So this is a monitoring tool to monitor for the presence of rats on seabird islands. Rats like to explore, and when they sniff out something tasty like chocolate, they sort of come into this tunnel and they'll gnaw on the edge of this wax, and we can see if there's any tooth marks on this block, and that will enable us to know whether we've got rats present on the island or not. They're an extremely effective piece of equipment. What we want is an instantaneous kill so that it's the most humane it can be. And these traps have been tested to international standards to make sure that the animal is killed quickly and humanely and doesn't suffer. So if we're going to remove predators, then we should do it in the best way that we can. And for a storm petrel, they're a long-lived bird, and they're also a slow breeding bird. So they only lay one egg per year, so they only have one chick per year. So if that egg or that chick is lost, that is it for that year. And in this case, we've got an invasive predator that is from America, not from the UK. You might get mink, and they can go into multiple burrows in a night and eat multiple chicks or eggs in a night. Is really concerning would be one word, but terrifying as a seabird island manager. The devastation that these mammals can cause, and so really this is, when you're faced with all the options, this is the best of the worst options for us. We can make sure that the island is clear of mink in the most humane way that we can. We were packing up all our stuff to leave the island, having checked all our traps and everything, and at the very last moment we found what we think is a mink scat on the path. It just goes to show really that the job of biosecurity is never really done. We're always looking out for, for signs or for scats or for tracks or whatever, and thank goodness we noticed it. As a nature reserve manager, we know quite a bit about lots of different things, but sometimes we need to get expert help in. And that's where for us the Biosecurity for Scotland project has been invaluable, with giving us that expert advice on how to make our island secure from these predators, what sort of monitoring that we need to do, supplying us with equipment, and being a listening ear when I'm having a bit of a flap about what to do next.
As the female hits the water, who's waiting for her? The master bull. My name's Pete Wildman. I'm a crew on the Sula boat. We take out tens of thousands of tourists each year to take in the wonderful wildlife we have here in and around the islands along the Firth of Forth. For example, the bass rock, one of the biggest northern Ghana colonies in the world. We see it every day, and yet it amazes me every time I go out there. Just the spectacle, the sight, sounds and the smells of the bass rock, it really comes alive, and it gives you an enthusiasm to share that with the people we have on our trips. We take maybe 9 people 8 times a month to climb onto the bass rock, usually professional photographers. They come with huge backpacks. So one of the safety briefs you have with these people is, are you aware of biosecurity? And have you checked your bags? Have you been anywhere recently? Have you camped overnight in a field, for example? Have you checked your bags? And if not, we will physically check their bags before they climb on a wonderful island like the Bass Rock. The hour before the trip, we make sure the boat's in pristine condition, and we check our little wax, non-toxic wax ring for signs of any interference with rodents such as rats. The rat guards, they stop rats from climbing on to our boats, and so it's imperative that we don't allow this to happen, because it could devastate the population, and then therefore we'll put a business like ours out of business, because there are no birds to see. So it's all, for me, it's all linked. It's intrinsically linked.
Okay, got still sky pointing right in the middle of the colony here, 2 rows back. Now it's very difficult to tell the difference between a male and a female gannet.
So islands are visited by a lot of different people, and they're used in a lot of different ways. So be that from people coming for tourism, or fishing nearby, or grazing sheep on them. There's a lot of different uses of islands, and we all have a part to play in biosecurity, because we all present a biosecurity risk.
We're doing some helicopter operations, taking loads out to the Bass Rock. We're doing a bit of work with NatureScot, who are here just to monitor, and RSPB as well, who've got the detection dog with us to make sure the loads going out don't have any invasive species in them. So our biosecurity protocols are up to speed, and we're not taking out any predators. As an organisation for the Northern Lighthouse Board, it's really, really important to be able to make a difference and stop seabirds' populations declining is amazing, it's great. So to be at the forefront of that is fantastic.
I think this has been a really pivotal project. Working with the partners, working with some of the landowners, I think what we've done is kind of shifted the dial so that folk now recognise that biosecurity is absolutely essential, particularly for our internationally important breeding seabird colonies. So without this project, I just don't think we would be anywhere close to making this the norm rather than the exception. From where we were to where we are now, it feels like night and day. But the partners who kind of got us this far, what we really need is for government to step in, step up and play a much more active role. And I'm delighted to say that they've indicated they are willing to take on a much more active role with biosecurity. And then what I would like to see is that if you go to somewhere like New Zealand, the measures and protocols around biosecurity are just every day. You find them everywhere, there's great signage, everybody follows it. That is where I would like us to be in short order in Scotland.